Okay, so. Oh, man, I will fuck.
Alright guys, welcome back. So, as it turns out, I'm going to be switching some gears here. The EF is not going to be ready in time for Classic Hondas on the Dragon. There's no way that I can make it. I'm still waiting on the head to be done, and it's just got a long ways to go. There's no interior in the car, so that takes time. So, I went and picked up a new project that we can get ready a lot sooner, I think, and also will fit the day a lot better because Classic Hondas on the Dragon is featuring Del Sols this year, and it just so happens I've been wanting to get a Del Sol. So let me show you what I got. Alright, so it's a 1996 Del Sol SI. So not the VTEC model. I was looking for the VTEC model, but as you know, there wasn't very many of them made, so they're kind of hard to come by. But this one is in fairly decent shape, other than the fact that this guy did not believe in two things. He didn't believe in a garage, obviously. He also didn't believe in any maintenance. But it's got good bones. Anyway, so as far as issues that the car has, it's got a small dent here in the fender, which, come to find out, fenders are very pricey for these, and needs some maintenance done. Obviously, on the inside, it's super clean though. AC works, heat works, and the seats aren't in that bad a condition, which I didn't know it, but they changed the seats in the newer years, and there's no longer that colored stripe down the center of it. It doesn't leak much water, still leaks through the seals in the top. So mechanically it's in pretty good condition, pretty clean, pretty dry engine. There's not a whole lot of oil leaks or anything of that nature. It is very dirty because this guy did not believe in cleaning anything, which most people don't. And as far as the engine goes, it seems like they just let it ride. But you know, ooh, it's got a lot of dust there on the intake, and the power steering does work. Like I said, AC does work. It's factory for the most part. It is a YA engine, which is what I was looking for. Brand new battery, which those puppies are expensive, so that's nice. It is dolphin nose because the newer years are dolphin nose, which I do like that. I like the other years too, but I don't mind the dolphin nose. So anyway, yeah, the plan is to get that car ready to go. So anyways, as far as what needs to be done before I go to Classic Hondas, I definitely have to get the rear lower control arms changed because there's bushings actually falling out on those. Got to get some suspension. It has a huge exhaust leak, so we have to get new exhaust and put that on. I'm thinking probably just some Yanaka exhaust because it's very quiet. I like the way it sounds, and it doesn't look bad either. I have some wheels in storage that I'm going to bring over. I want to get a front lip before we go. I got to change that fender, which I found a salvage yard in Joplin that I can totally buy one from. Parts for this car are kind of wild. So the driver's side fender is like $250 to $300 if you can find one. The passenger side fender, however, is like $500 to $1,000 on its own. It's kind of wild that one fender is cheap and the other one's not cheap at all. Either way, I found one at a salvage yard, which they say is straight, so we should be able to go that route. Hopefully it's red, that would be nice. Then we got to get an alignment, change the oil, do all the maintenance that we can before we go, change the timing belt and water pump, and then it does throw a check engine light. I want to check that and just make sure that it is an O2 sensor like he says it is and nothing more major. But then when we get back from Classic Hondas on the Dragon, we'll probably pick back up on the EF. When that's done, there's a whole list of things that we got to do to the Del Sol to get it where it needs to be also. But anyways, today I think what we'll do, try to knock as much stuff off that Classic Honda's list that we can. The tilt of my driveway is about to run over the edges here. The hole's on the backside, and my driveway tilts that way. So note to self, have it facing that way. And just like I expected, it's hulked on there. People love to put that oil filter on tight. Got that Napa know-how. I always like to check, make sure that the rubber seal is on the bottom of the oil filter, because if it's not, and you double seal it up underneath there, you'll get about a mile down the road and all of your oil will be on the ground. The old Del Sols, they call for this. So we're only going to use about 2/3 of this guy. Okay, so I got all 4 rims off, and looking at this shock, boy, she's seen better days. Looks like every amount of fluid has pretty much leaked right out of that shock, which is why it was so bouncy in the back. The bushings, that bushing, I have lower control arms coming, so I'm not too worried about those. This is the new rear brake caliper that he had to put on it. This bushing still seems intact. So what we're gonna do is, oh, it has been lowered. Look, it's got Eibach springs on it, which could be why they're blown out. These shocks are just not meant to be on lowering springs at all. But anyways, what we're gonna do is just clean down all of these fender wells on each side, so I'm not working in dirt, and they've probably never been cleaned. And then we will transfer the suspension from that car to this car. Alright, so we got them all cleaned up, just waiting for them to dry, because I don't like working in the water. But I'm not a mud flap guy, so I'm going to go ahead and take these mud flaps off and probably they're on every side. So if anybody needs any Del Sol mud flaps, I'll give them to you, or just for shipping, or if you're local to me, I can give them to you there. I'm not a big mud flap guy, so we'll go ahead and take those off.
so I forgot to hit record on my camera, but I do have some good news. And that is that these bolts are not frozen up, which is great, because sometimes they are, and that sucks. I'm just going to leave that hanging by the sway bar. Okay, alright, so progress is being made. We got the shocks just kind of hanging in there. We got to put the lower stuff back together. But I'm hoping that they're adjusted somewhat correctly because they came out of the Integra. I don't know what the weight difference is, but hopefully it's not that much different and it's at least close. But yeah, we're finishing it up. Then we'll move to the front. All right, so everything's in. Got everything bolted up. And I think I'm just gonna put these wheels on because I think they would look good on this car for now. Got this side done too. Everything came off fine, went back on fine, so let me put these wheels on and I'll show them to you.
Okay, so we got the car lowered. We got the wheels on the car, and I've taken it for a test drive. Let me show it to you.
It's pretty crazy how much just suspension and wheels will do to your car. And I know it's not sitting quite right now because what I've discovered is there was a noise coming from the front area here, and when I moved the tire on the wheel, this was moving back and forth. So I figured bad wheel bearing, right? Well, I was looking further, and up here, if you can see how much that's moving, I'm gonna say either that's a bad, the upper control arm's bad, or this isn't tight. I'm gonna try tightening this up first, but I don't think that's gonna do anything. And then, so we have that to deal with.
All right, so upon further investigation, I tightened it up. Still the same thing. Still got this weird movement in it, so I'm gonna say that ball joint is bad. So I'm going to go out to the salvage yard rather than taking it off of the Integra, and I'm going to grab another upper control arm, and that ought to get me fixed up. Out here, you guys probably haven't seen this place yet, but this all used to be cars, and now there's only a few cars down there left. And I kept a bunch of Hondas when we crushed everything over here. So I do still have a pretty large inventory of things. So it's not too difficult to find what you need. But in the summertime, it really grows up. So I decided on this guy over here because there was no play in this ball joint here. Even though the boot is a little dry rotted, there's still no play. And I was able to get the ball joints separated here, which can be kind of tough sometimes. But anyways, I just got to take out these and we'll be ready to go here. That's what we needed right there. Okay, so yep, got her all done. And obviously this is a I believe this is a Integra Type R strut bar that they've put in here, but I like it, so I'm gonna leave it. and then all of this fell. I was able to get this guy off. Got to put a cotter pin in here still, but now it's perfect. No movement at all. So I'll put the wheel back on, make sure there's no movement there, and we should be all set. Okay, so got it back down on the ground. Let's go for a drive. Make sure it doesn't make any weird noises or anything like that, so we can move on. This is one of the bump stops that fell out when I was bouncing the back end with my friends. So we knew it was bad. So there's no noises now, but it wasn't until about 60 miles per hour that it got bad. Man, this car shifts buttery smooth. They just didn't do any maintenance at all. It was pretty much just drive it and maybe change the oil. So yeah, no weird noises anymore. It seems to be driving fine. I mean, it definitely needs an alignment. Yeah, no weird noises. The suspension ride's pretty good. I think it's set pretty soft right now because they were my buddy Ren's and he just drove his Integra daily. He just kept it soft, just so it was pleasant to drive around, which I understand that. There's something weird going on with the brakes in this car. I don't think it still stops okay. It just doesn't stop as good as it should, I don't think. But anyway, as far as this goes, man, I'm happy with this. Interior is really nice. A lot of these Del Sols that I looked at, they had broken vents, broken door handles. They had gauges that didn't work. The seats were beat up. None of that in here. I mean, it's super clean. I did have my buddy Thomas at Bolivar Tint do the windows, and I'll put a link to his Facebook website in the description as well. Anyway, gonna end it right here. Like, comment, subscribe. I hope you have a good day or evening, whatever it is to you, and we'll see you on the next one.